When Shaquille O'Neal visited Abuja, Nigeria, for a business deal, he never imagined that a single encounter would change not only someone else's life, but also his own. What started as a routine trip became an unforgettable moment of humanity when he stumbled upon a heartbreaking scene: a pregnant woman, barefoot, hawking oranges under the relentless sun. Her young son clung to her back, his tiny body glistening with sweat. Her struggle was evident. Her pain, palpable. What Shaq did next was nothing short of extraordinary. Have you ever witnessed a moment so raw, so real, that it stopped you in your tracks? Imagine being in the middle of a busy city like Abuja, with cars honking, street vendors shouting, and the unyielding energy of the day swirling around you. Then, amidst all the noise and chaos, your eyes land on a scene that shakes you to your core. This was that moment for Shaquille O'Neal, one that would leave the world speechless. Shaq, a global basketball icon, a businessman, and a philanthropist, was in Abuja exploring investment opportunities. Known for its vibrancy, Abuja is a city of ambition and resilience. But like many other places, it is also home to those fighting unimaginable battles just to survive. As Shaq's car made its way through the streets, something caught his eye. A woman, visibly pregnant, was walking barefoot across the scorching pavement. A tray of oranges was balanced precariously on her head, and her small son, no older than 2, was strapped to her back. The child's chest was bare, his small frame vulnerable to the merciless heat. The sight was both humbling and devastating. Shaq couldn't look away. He immediately asked his driver to stop. As he stepped out, the blazing sun hit him like a wall, the kind of heat that drains you of strength in minutes. Yet this woman was walking with a determination that defied reason. He approached her cautiously, his towering figure casting a shadow over her small frame. She paused, startled, unsure why this giant of a man was speaking to her. "What's your name?" Shaq asked gently. "My name is Ada," she replied, her voice trembling but steady. What followed broke Shaq's heart. Ada shared her story, a story of loss, resilience, and quiet suffering. Just a year ago, her husband had died in a tragic road accident, leaving her to fend for herself and her young son. With no family to turn to and no safety net to fall back on, she had been forced to survive by selling oranges on the streets. Every day, she walked barefoot under the punishing sun, earning barely enough to buy food for her child. Yet, despite her pain, she hadn't given up. Imagine the courage it takes to keep going when the odds are stacked so heavily against you. Imagine the strength required to carry not just the weight of survival, but also the hope of a better future for your child, all while carrying a new life inside you. Shaq was overwhelmed. Here stood a woman who had every reason to collapse under the weight of her hardships, but instead, she fought. She didn't complain. She didn't beg. She just kept going. Shaq's eyes filled with emotion as he reached into his pocket and pulled out a stack of cash. He handed her $500. Ada froze, her hands trembling as she accepted the money. Tears welled up in her eyes and began streaming down her face. For a moment, she was speechless. Then, through her tears, she began to thank him again and again. But Shaq wasn't done. "Come with me," he said softly, guiding her to a nearby cafe where they could sit and talk. What happened next would not only change Ada's life but inspire everyone who heard her story. As they sat down, Shaq asked her questions, not just about her struggles, but about her dreams. "If you could do anything, what would it be?" he asked. Ada hesitated, still overwhelmed by the kindness of a stranger. Finally, she shared her dream. She wanted to own a small grocery store where she could sell fruits, vegetables, and other essentials. A shop, she said, would give her the chance to build a better life for her son and the baby she was carrying. Shaq listened intently, his heart breaking for this woman who had endured so much yet still dared to dream. He smiled and said words Ada would never forget: "I'm going to help you." And when Shaq helps, he doesn't stop at words. He called one of his assistants in Abuja and asked them to find a shop for Ada. Within hours, they had located a small but clean storefront in a bustling part of the city. Shaq paid the rent for an entire year up front. But he didn't stop there. He handed Ada $40,000 to stock the shop with goods, hire workers, and build a business that could thrive. He also ensured she had access to prenatal care, covering all her medical expenses until she gave birth. Ada couldn't believe what was happening. Just hours ago, she was walking barefoot on the streets, with nothing but determination and a tray of oranges. Now, a stranger, an international superstar, had stepped into her life and given her a chance she never thought possible. News of Shaq's kindness spread quickly. As word traveled, people gathered around Ada's new shop, watching as it came to life. In just a few days, she went from being a struggling hawker to a proud business owner. Her transformation was nothing short of miraculous. But Shaq's generosity wasn't for the cameras. Most of the world wouldn't even have known about this story if a local journalist hadn't shared it on social media. When asked about his actions, Shaq simply said, "I saw someone who needed help, and I had the ability to help. That's it. That's all it takes." Isn't that a powerful reminder for all of us? How often do we walk past someone in need, convincing ourselves it's not our responsibility? What if we paused? What if we cared? What if we all did just a little more? Ada's story didn't end there. With her new shop, she was able to send her son to school, provide for her family, and build a brighter future. Her business thrived, becoming a cornerstone of her community. People came not just to buy goods, but to see the woman who symbolized resilience, hope, and the power of a helping hand. This story isn't just about Shaquille O'Neal or Ada. It's about all of us. It's about how one act of kindness can create ripples that change lives, inspire communities, and remind us all of what it means to be human. So, the next time you see someone struggling, remember Ada's strength. Remember Shaq's heart. And remember that even in the face of hardship, kindness and hope can prevail. What would you do if you had the power to change someone's life? Would you take the chance? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartwarming stories that showcase the incredible power of kindness and compassion. If you've stayed with us until the end, let us know where you're watching from, and drop 100 points in the comments, because you're the kind of person who sees things through to the very end.